is that something that like you are interested in and you want to see that in a game, or are you happy for that not to be a part of the game and just to kind of cruise on with what you're doing?
Oh no, I mean, I'm all for that being part of the game. It's like just getting more for your money, really. It's a choice. I mean, you don't have to do it, but you can do it. And just as much as I like games where your choices matter, I like games where your actions matter. So if you do want to go out there and, you know, hit the gym and beef up your muscles like in San Andreas, that was a good thing you could do. But in this one, it reminds me of The Witcher, because when that was introduced in there, it was a bit of a chore, keep having to go back to the barber if you wanted to maintain your look. But, you know, it's just another depth of realism that these games keep producing. Because what do you want to do when you're playing a game? It's a bit of escapism. You want to go to the Wild West and do your thing and see what it was like back then. But, you know, if you want to get really immersed in that, then yeah, you should see stop and have some food while you're there. Why not?
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. I for me, it just adds to the experience, and also I think with the genre they've gone to here. Okay, so I probably should have said this at the beginning of the podcast, but I'm a huge Western genre film fan. Like, I love those films, particularly the spaghetti westerns by Leone. I was a massive fan of those films, and for anybody that's seen them, you know, Fistful of Dollars and, you know, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, and for a few more dollars, you know, those films were way ahead of their time. Like, the music in them is just synonymous with Western films. Obviously Clint Eastwood being in there, and all the actors. And so for me, part of, you know, me enjoying that genre of movies and the West in general is that when you play those games, unlike sort of like GTA, these games are a lot more survival type based, and you can really do that with this genre, because back in the Old West there wasn't everything around, and you did have quite a long gaps between each town. So it was about kind of like, how do you live in a time where there isn't, you know, technology is just around the corner, but it's not there yet. But at the same time, you've got the whole outlaw movement still very much part of the culture, and in between all that, you've got kind of people just, you know, going about their day-to-day life, trying to fit in where they can. So there's kind of a nice... I really like the fact that Red Dead, from what I've seen of some of the trailers, that they are really implementing, much like they did with the last game, you know, bits of technology that you're going to see come along, like the use of vehicles. Obviously, we know trains are a big thing in this game, and they're definitely going to be using that. But the railroads, how much they affected things and changed things, oil, all those kind of things. Because I don't know if you saw the film, Matt, with Daniel Day-Lewis. What was that called? There Will Be Blood. Have you ever seen that?
No, I didn't actually see that one.
Well recommended. But it's basically about, it's not a cowboy shoot 'em up film by any stretch, but it's about that time where oil started to become a massive thing. And I know that in the last game, they really were. There was a lot of sort of nod to the hat of that film. Like, I don't know who was doing the writing for the stories, but they certainly took a lot of inspiration from that film. So for me, I think the whole survival thing, Matt, like where you've got to feed your character, you've got to kind of, you know, keep him groomed if you want to or not, completely up to you. I think this is a good genre to do that in. I think maybe games like GTA, it's too much, like with how it is in modern day, it would be a bit of a stretch. But I think in this is the perfect place they can do that. Unless you're on like a desert island, that's probably your ultimate, which there is a game out, by the way, that is like that currently. Hell of a lot of bugs in it. I'm sure, I can't remember what the game's called, but I would say this is the game to do it in, and I think Rockstar have done well here to implement as much as they can. So moving forward with that, with what we were just talking about, the other key facts here: Arthur can shave at his tent in a camp, going clean shaven, keeping a full beard, anything in between. He can trim different areas of his face, chin, cheeks, sideburns, so they're short, medium or long. So they already, in that statement, you can tell there is a lot of customization here. Like, it's not just a case of standing in like what you normally get with GTA is you go to a clothes shop, you'll stand and you'll face a mirror, and then all of a sudden you're kind of doing like a Sims thing where you're putting different items on him and you're kind of seeing how he looks and he's smiling back at you, and you're customizing like that. Now, from what I'm gauging, and I haven't seen this, but I can only get from what people have played the game, what they're saying at the moment, the earliest parts of this, is that when you do these things, it's very much to the point of kind of they're trying to keep you in and capture the moment of what you're doing. So it's actually going to be like a lot of you're not going to see what it's going to look like until you try it, basically. So you're not going to get the option to go, oh, that's what it looks like clean shaven, I might have that. Or you're going to have to grow a beard. You can't just go in there and be like, right, I've got a full-ton beard. You're going to have to grow it. And that, to be honest, that little detail is really big to me, because it frustrates me sometimes that you can just go into a salon and be like, yeah, I want like a 2-ton sort of hair, and I'm going to have like a Mohican just out of nowhere when I've had a bald head for the last, month or whatever in the game. It's kind of weird, but I like the fact that they've done that, and that little detail for me, that again brings quite a lot of realism to this game. And I think that's one of the words we'll probably use here a lot, Matt, is how we know it's a video game, but for me, I would say the word realism is coming across on this much, much more. Like, there's, sort of with video games, it's difficult because a lot of the times everybody, because you can get away with doing anything on a video game pretty much if you've got the people to do it, the software and everything else, you can kind of create any of these worlds, especially sci-fi stuff, which I'm a massive fan of. However, when you're going back and you're seeing history, I think they're trying to give a very realistic out view of what life was like. So for me, this really works well. So what about you, Matt? Is that too much for you, or is that still kind of going on what you want to see with this?
No. I think it all ties in perfectly. And like you said before, it doesn't really work in the world of GTA. There's a lot going on, but in this one, like, the focuses are more simple. Mm-hmm. It's like when you're saying about how we were speaking about before, when guns can jam and stuff.
Yeah.
Looking after a weapon back then was like a top priority, because you needed to have like your weapon at your side. You wanted to make sure it worked. Yeah. So it's just one of those things. It's another element of immersion as well. Just getting involved in that world and actually seeing what was important to them back then. And we're probably going to get onto it a little later, but there's all these other aspects, like how you get your food, you go hunting, all that other. But we'll get into that a little bit later, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will. Okay, other stuff here, other little parts. Obviously, goes without saying, Arthur will visibly lose or gain weight depending on how much food he eats. So, you kind of guessed at this point, if there's that much detail in his shaving, that's definitely going to be a key thing. Which, again, a lot of games, you won't get that option. Like, it just isn't there with the whole weight thing. I'm interested to see how that works. From what I've been reading, Matt, it goes back to Zelda a little bit. Like, if you're gonna start to try and reach a place that's going to be really cold on the map, then you as a survival thing, you're gonna want to have a little bit more weight, a little bit more meat on you, along with the correct clothing, of course. But it all goes as part of that, as your fatigue and everything else. And I think if he's kind of like going to be involved in a big gun shootout or like a big part in the game, you kind of want to have him reasonably fed, so he's kind of comfortable, and that type of stuff, and especially if he's got like outrun the law or whatever he's doing. So I like those things, because for me it makes you, it's going to make you think before you even try anything. Like, you're going to be thinking, okay, I might need to go and get this, I might have to plan things that are not even in the story. That these might just be things that you're going around on horseback just trying to explore, that you're still going to have to really think about, hang on a minute, do I really want to get involved in this, or shall I just leave this because I'm in no fit state to do it? So I quite like that that aspect of it. Okay, let's try and hit some other cool things then that we've found out so far. So what we got, fellow gang members will also loot bodies that are around, so they're gonna like I mean the whole gang thing is very interesting in this. I guess we should probably mention this, that there is like a gang, and obviously there's also gonna be a camp that's quite big in this, and I think the camp's gonna move around as the game and the story move, and a lot of what I've been reading is all about, you know, supplying your camp, helping out around the camp, and you're going to have all these kind of amazing side missions, I'm sure, and you're going to get to know each member and you know, their wives and so on and so on. So again, quite realistic, and I like the fact that they're putting that in this game. From what I've been told, if you don't like go to the camp, there's not like a thing where they don't survive or anything. It's not going to make you always have to go there. However, it's definitely a big focus part of the game. So I'm kind of glad that they're doing that. It's kind of something that wasn't there. The whole gang mentality had been spoken about. We'd heard about this gang. However, John Marsden, previous or, you know, ahead of time, was not in anything like that. He was pretty much a one-man gang. I mean, literally the shootouts in that game, Matt, you was pretty much going to be doing everything on your own, with a few side characters that probably weren't too much use in the original one. So I like the idea that there is a camp and there's kind of like a home base that you've got to try and help out, and, you know, trying to find that other characters. So that should be cool. Okay, here's another cool thing. If you lose a hat or a weapon, it will reappear on your horse's saddle. If you lose your saddle, it will only come back at a stable that you need to go to. So that's just like a little insight game thing there. Also, if you lose your hat, it will also appear as an icon on a mini map. So like, these are just small things that are going to be involved in a game. You can wear animal carcasses as a hat. I know like a lot of people have been quite happy about that, because I don't think in the original game you kind of had the ability to do that stuff. Like, you'd see John Marsden hunting and there'd be a cutaway shot where you see him like skinning the animal and be like, oh god, man, stinks. Can't remember the lines now, but in this one I believe there's going to be a lot more to that. They're going to have a lot more different ways you can do it, and I think it also depends how you play John Marsden to what he will react like to when he's hunting and sort of shooting down people. That will probably change. Of course, outfits are customizable to an insane degree. It's said here you can choose to have your pants tucked into your boot or not, or sleeves rolled up or not, for instance. So Matt, I mean, the level of detail and customization here, this could be a whole different ball game to a lot of games that are open world. I'm probably going to go out on a limb here and say that this might probably the most sort of customizable thing you can do with your main character in a game, and I'm pretty sure that you won't get, you know, even though we're all playing as Arthur Morgan, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to have their own take on, you know, what he should look like. So just to end on the whole customization thing, Matt, and obviously hearing that, for you, is that enough for you, or is that too much for you, or are you just excited to kind of see how that all plays out? Could it be a case of too much, or do you think that's a you know, a good new thing to add here overall?
I think when it comes to Rockstar games in general, like, there's never too much content. I feel like, you know, just give us more. I mean, if they want to put it in there, they're definitely going to work hard and get it spot on. And In fact, I'm quite looking forward to if I see a rival gang member with a nicer hat than mine.
Yeah.
I'm taking it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
That
something
guy
you.
get his hat.
Yeah, that's something you can do. You can. I was reading one of my magazines. You can shoot the hat off of somebody and just take the hat for yourself, which is cool because in most games you could